Aubrey Plaza's brand new coming-of-age movie My Old Ass is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video and handles one common issue in this genre perfectly. My Old Ass chronicles Elliot's journey into adulthood, which becomes rather unusual when she trips on mushrooms in the woods with her friends and ends up encountering her older self. Throughout the movie, it's not entirely clear if older Elliot is real or a hallucination caused by the mushrooms. While the My Old Ass ending leaves the answer somewhat ambiguous, most signs point to older Elliot being real. Whether older Elliot is real or not ultimately becomes inconsequential, particularly because My Old Ass is really about Elliot learning to appreciate her family. This is in part accomplished by older Elliot's reveals about the future, but older Elliot also manages to convince Elliot to see the error of her ways with her family and learn to live in the now. One of the most significant examples of this extends far beyond just My Old Ass and is the perfect solution to a massive problem with coming-of-age movies, especially about young women. My Old Ass doesn't make aging seem miserable. Despite the title of My Old Ass, aging is presented in a positive light. Aubrey Plaza and Maisie Stella in a scene from My Old Ass. The title of My Old Ass is clearly a joke that plays upon the idea that older Elliot is out of touch and has aged considerably, despite the character being just 39 in the movie. Elliot teases older Elliot about her age throughout My Old Ass, in fact, including by calling her middle-aged, which, playfully, irritates older Elliot. Despite these jokes and Elliot's perception of older Elliot as quite a bit older than she really is, it's clear that these comments don't extend beyond jokes. On the contrary, My Old Ass presents aging in a positive light, with older Elliot seeming wiser and more compassionate compared to some of Elliot's more selfish and impulsive behaviors, such as sneaking off to do mushrooms rather than spending time with her family before she departs for college. It's also clear throughout the movie that Elliot genuinely relies on the opinion of her older self, suggesting that older Elliot becomes a figure Elliot respects. This is a major shift away from the common perception of aging in coming-of-age movies, which often shows the protagonist afraid of growing old. My Old Ass' positive representation of aging extends beyond Aubrey Plaza's Elliot. Elliot's relationship with her mother takes a rare but beautiful turn. Elliot bonding with her mom in My Old Ass. While it's delightful to see a character in her late 30s presented as funny, charming, and witty, it isn't just older Elliot who serves as a positive representation of older age among My Old Ass' cast of characters. Elliot's mother is also shown respect and is ultimately someone Elliot grows to appreciate much more. This dynamic between Elliot and her mother is perhaps even more revolutionary than the depiction of older Elliot. All too often, coming-of-age movies focused on teenage girls place mother and daughter opposite one another, with mothers seeming like they just don't understand and My Old Ass avoids this entirely. While Elliot starts off avoiding her family and not recognizing how wonderful her parents and brothers truly are, by the end of the movie, it's clear that Elliot sees how much her mother has done for her. What's more, this revelation comes without Elliot first disparaging her mother or her mother being represented in a negative light. This is a huge change from other coming-of-age stories like Freaky Friday, which very specifically shows intense divisions between mothers and their daughters. My Old Ass shows what coming-of-age stories should be. Too often, older adulthood is treated like the end. My Old Ass truly is a perfect example of what coming-of-age stories should be, especially for movies about young women. In theory, coming-of-age stories are about the protagonists beginning their life, but these movies tend to reinforce stereotypes about women's value being based on youth and beauty. My Old Ass pushes back on that not only by having Elliot come to respect older Elliot but also by Elliot embracing even the more difficult things the future holds, including Chad's fate. Hopefully, the success of My Old Ass will mean a shift in approach for coming-of-age movies such as this one. Particularly casting a star such as Aubrey Plaza in an older role suggests that these stories can present aging in a positive way and still be incredibly popular. Whether My Old Ass creates this shift or not, though, this movie is a thrilling update to the more common representation of aging as something to be feared.